Hey guys, Tony Soy Assassin. Welcome to our Saturday night smokers panel live thing. You know, I was actually not feeling very well today. And I was like, maybe I should cancel it. But I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's better to have a short life than a no life, right? So I figure I jump on. I'll maybe do a live until I feel like, yeah, maybe I don't feel so well now. And go from there. But I come up here, we kind of chit chat, answer some questions. We're literally 6 days away. 6 days away from the event. I want to see if anybody questions or whatnot. I want to show you guys something too. So yeah, let me give me a few minutes. I'll show you guys something. Maybe you guys will like it. Maybe you're intrigued. Maybe not. But you know, sometimes I do think that the live show is not just for the people who's live here with us in the show, but it's also for those people who gets entertained by something else later. You know, you can be entertained by this video a day or 2 or 3 days later when you are not doing something. And if you wonder where Eric is try to avoid hail again. I didn't know that they were gonna get hail, but apparently he's gotta get hail. Yeah. So wait a few minutes, and we start with announcement, new things to show you, and we'll go from there. Hey, Val. Okay. So first things first. Let's go down the list. If I had a list, I don't really have a list. So first thing first. Project ITS cigar is available now for pre-order. For those people who is not going to be at the event. Do not pre-order and expect to be able to pick it up at the event. It doesn't work that way because the pre-order company is a little guy, but the event is Cigars Daily. So there are two different things. You're not gonna be able to pre-order and pick it up. All right, pre-order ships out the 27th. 27th this month, right? So Monday. And if you go to the party, 24th, you can smoke it that day. Okay, so go to the event is the 24th. Pre-order is the 27th. All right. According to our negotiation, after that, you will still be able to pick up the cigar. Like after 24th, you will be able to pick up your cigar either at Cigars Daily or Little Guys. All right, both will be carrying. Cigars Daily will be able to carry some portion of ITS over there. So you will be able to get it from Cigars Daily. But if you want, you can also get it from Little Guy. Cigars Daily, Little Guy. Cigars Daily, Little Guy. All right? 2 places to get it. So far, I don't know if there's gonna be a 3rd or 4th place that's gonna carry it. But right now, this is the 2 place that will carry it. I mean, if you have trouble getting from these 2 places, then I don't know. Okay? Like literally, as far as I know, the few big ones, big name online, Cigars Daily is definitely not one of the one that people don't know. Okay, so you will be able to get it from Cigars Daily or Little Guy. Both places should be the same price. Plus minus whatever discount they want to provide. But you will be, either way, you're supporting the shadow. Okay, either way. Right. For the members of the Legion, it's probably better off if you get it from Little Guy because the Legion has a Legion discount. But if you don't, it's another place, right? So that's what it's going on right now. All right, that's what's going on right now. Val, what's going on, Val?
Chilly outside tonight, man.
I heard that the weather's not very good today, so
Yeah, it's been windy and chilly since yesterday. Actually, we had a severe storm watch put in for about 2 hours yesterday evening. Uh, the skies got green, hail, rain, strong winds. I thought we were gonna get hit with a tornado.
wow. Yeah, extreme weather,
So,
extreme weather. So I was telling people, as you heard after the event, where to get the ITS cigar. Cigar Steady has decided to carry it for us.
oh wow.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get it from Cigar Steady or Little Guys.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
So I don't
great.
know if this is gonna continue to be more, but as we have more, we'll continue to announce it. You know, see what happens. See what happens. Okay. Now next, I had designed another hat. I don't know what people think about it, so I want to see you guys' opinion on it. Because here's the thing, right? I have not been designing any of the old original logo hats anymore. It's always been these print on now. So we have these ones for the event, as you already know. This is for the event,
Yeah.
right? And I found a company that can print like big.
Oh, okay. That's
Big.
cool.
So I just don't know how I feel about this material. It's like cotton.
Hey, well, they're made to be worn.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's nice.
Big letterings. Big
Yeah, that's
letterings.
nice. It's bold. It's out there. That's pretty cool.
It is a trucker hat. Don't ask me for it. I only have one. I only made one to see how it looks like. I only make one to see how it looks like. Um, this one is twice. This one is twice more expensive as this one. Production
Um.
cost.
Okay.
This one
So.
is twice the production cost as this one.
Okay. Well, what kind of backing does it have? Is it are they both
Snapback. Snapback.
snapback? They're
Snapback.
both snapbacks.
Yeah, they're both snapback. This one is the baseball hat snapback.
Yeah.
This one is the trucker hat snapback. Okay.
Okay. So wait. So the side panels are like mesh, more like mesh material.
This one is mesh. Yes, it's trucker.
Yeah. So you got more. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can get it as like the same as this too, but this
Yeah.
company charges twice as much as this company.
Yeah.
But I want to show you guys what you guys think about just wearing the Legion without the logo, without the skull. Some people like the Legion name, but not necessarily like to wear a skull everywhere.
Well, it's nice to have two different types so you can rotate.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's what I like about it.
So I have that. That's what's going on. That trucker hat is mine. I only have one. You can't have it. That's my demo piece. Another thing that I have only one demo piece. Ashtray.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So this is gonna be the final edition of the demos for this particular ashtray. We were gonna make a different kind, but the different kind one has good things and has bad things plus production time. That production time is gonna drag out for more than a few months. So it's gotta get hit with some serious tariffs. So I'm trying to do it within 90 days. And this one I can do it within 90 days. I hope. 40-day production time, 30-day shipping time. It's still gotta get hit by 30% tariffs. I mean, no, 30% tariffs. Not gonna get hit by 250 or 450, but it's gonna get hit by 30% tariffs.
Well, you can't get away from the tariff. So
Yeah, right now we can't.
you know,
Before, when I first decided to do an ashtray, it was none. And now after I pay for that, there is, and it's too late for me to cancel it or not do it. So I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
So the decision was to make the bigger one because everybody wants a big ashtray if you gotta get one of these, right?
Yes.
And the depth is the same. The depth is the same. The width of the depth is less. But overall, the ashtray is bigger.
Okay.
Okay. So from here to here, the gap between here, like this, is smaller. Just for comparison, this is a Toro. You can fit a Toro just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you gotta fit 4 Toros on here, just lead, it might kiss each other. I don't know. It might. Or it might not.
Yeah.
But I think this one has the presence on the table. Like if you decide to put this one on the table, it has that presence. The other one doesn't have the side logo. Okay? All the side has the logo on it. So you get the side logo on it. You get the main logo in here. The main logo is actually more shinier for some reason on this one. I don't know why. It pop up a little better. It feels like an infrared printing on top instead of sticker. The other one is done by sticker. I don't know why. So one of them is done by printing, one of them is done by sticker. This is done by printing. That one's done by sticker. But I like the printing better, so that's me. All right. This is printing. So you can kind of see like a texture to it. Printing.
Yeah.
And the sticker, you can actually see the side of a sticker. I was like, what the hell? But they put a class like a glaze over it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really see the edge of the sticker. But I see it, so it bothers me. And obviously we added the 4 gold sides. Because everybody demand that. I don't know why.
It just makes it pop. It just makes it stand out.
But
more.
keep in mind, like over time, this gold will wear off. As any cigar, any cigar ashtray will wear this off.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know what the price is gonna be yet until the tariff hits when it comes in. But I'll keep you guys updated. We are making about 40, 50 of these. Oh, another benefit of this, it has a bottom. The other one has no bottom. That makes sense? The other one, the bottom's hollow.
Oh, okay. I get you.
I do know that some people like this kind of thing, where they will take 1 foot off and put sand in it and close it, so it sits on the table, it doesn't get blown around. The other one is a little bit heavier to start with, but it's hollow on the bottom. So this is the one we decided to go with. I think it's gonna look pretty cool, pretty sick, especially if you have like a cigar shop on the table. This thing looks sick. So that's the news on that one. The humidor. I know some people are waiting for the humidor. Humidor will get hit by tariffs as well. I don't think I'm gonna change the price of humidor even if I get hit by tariffs. So I'll eat the cost. I guess 30% of it. But it really depends how it end up to be, because I'm not sure. I know the humidor will be done by next Wednesday, but that means it's not gonna make it to the event because it takes 30 days to ship.
That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, so it takes 30 days to ship. I had to get the humidor in, but those people who are waiting for the humidor will be able to get it because I had to go through with it. I had to go through with it. So we will have the humidors available. I was told that they gotta show me some pictures and videos before they send it. So um, once I have that, I'll show it to you guys. I hope Wednesday next week.
Yeah. Show day.
All right. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on, right? Hat, ashtray, humidor,
That's a
cigar. I think that's pretty much it. What else am I making? What else am I making? I'm trying to do what Val was telling me to do, to not think about it.
Yeah, just step back a little bit, let it go.
I want to do that, but like the thing is that every day I'm receiving email on this is happening, that's happening, this thing, questions, answers. It brings me back to that topic. You know, the Legion topic just doesn't end because every day has a small movement, right? Every day has a small movement. For example, like Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Friday. It was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday afternoon when I talked to Tim. Thursday afternoon when I talked to Tim. So literally, I emailed Tim Swanson, the information on the cigar Monday, and he didn't get to it until Thursday, and he messaged me on Thursday while I was driving out, go pick up my dog, and I talked to him about the cigars, and he's like, so like, what we gotta do with the rest of the cigar? You want to sell it? You need a place to put it and all that stuff. That was like all Thursday afternoon. It was about like 4 or 5 o'clock. So like, even if I don't want to think about it, something will snap in and go, bring your mind back to it because we got to talk about it now. every day. I have no choice but to talk about it. I have no choice but to think about it because it's always something. And obviously, the cigar also represents the Legion. I don't want to screw it up either. There's a lot of weight on my shoulder, I feel like. I don't want to deliver a cigar or have the cigar party to be remembered as like a flop.
Well, that you can't control that.
Mm-hmm. I
can't.
agree. That's something I can control for sure. But at the same time, I feel like I could do as much as I could to prevent that. And
Well,
unfortunately, there are elements that you can't, right? Like for example, we have a few people that already smoked the ITS. All right, few people, and the feedback is it's a good cigar. Okay, we don't hear much negative about it other than one or two says it's a little strong, and that was it.
well, that's
However, it's just what if people are just being nice? Like in my mind, it's like what if people are just being nice?
well. Look here, Tony. Look here. So I look at it this way. I want to have a good cigar. I can't say I want it to be great, okay? Because you can only get better once you do something. You can only improve. Hopefully, you can only improve. Yes, you can have a little regression, but even with a little regression, that's a learning curve, okay? But if I'm going to put out a cigar, I want a cigar that's good. I want a good cigar. I want a cigar that people will say, you know what, that cigar is pretty good. I wouldn't mind having a couple of them. I wouldn't mind having a 5 pack. You know what? I like it so much. I may even want to get me a box of those. So, I mean, that's how I look at it. I want to have a good cigar, and if it's a little strong, that's okay, because the people that are smoking now, their palates are continually evolving.
Mm-hmm.
They're continually developing, and their ability to handle and cope with the little bit stronger cigar is gonna get there. So
Mm.
otherwise, if you have a cigar that's too mild, you may have a couple that like it, but it won't. This is only this type of cigar. I'm only gonna smoke this cigar, and I do this, and I do this. There are only cigars I'll smoke in the morning, and only cigars I'll smoke with coffee. Okay.
No, I did find that the project ITS. Now that I had that cigar in my possession, one of the earlier version of it. I have one that is in my possession for roughly 9 months now, and I smoked that one. The strength has actually come down a little bit, and it's more agreeable with me.
Has the other parts to the cigar?
No, the other part of
No,
the cigar is just fine, but
it's
like
just
I
fine.
felt like the
Okay.
strength died a little bit, which is only part of how cigar settles down. As time sits with the cigar, all the tobacco marry each other. Some part of it just kind of dissipates a little bit, and the first thing to go is strength. And I did know that it come down a little bit, and Eric noticed that as well. And he started to say, maybe this cigar will be very good after you age for a year. Okay, maybe. And I was like, okay, well that's a good thing. So like, no, that puts me at ease because we tasted 9 months later. Here's a lot of cigar brands. Once they make the cigar, they don't get to sit for a long, 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 long time. For us, because this is 18 months, it's been so long.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I heard someone. I was watching some interview, and this guy was talking about his cigar blend. As well, I got a 5 year age tobacco in there. I got a 6 year age tobacco in there. I got an 8 year age tobacco. The aging of the tobaccos is there, and that's fine. That's fine. But when you put them together and you finally got that cigar rolled, it takes on a different evolution, right? And that's
This
it.
is
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about the evolution of that cigar. Once it's made, it's aging and it's marrying itself into its tobacco flavors as it's resting in your humidor.
what I okay in a sports sense. If I say it in the sports sense, I completely understand. I putting together a basketball team, 5 people, right? 5 people, different age, or
Yeah.
different year of experience in basketball. You got 3 year, you got 5, you got 10, you got 15, you got whatever. 5 of them together. But when you first put them in your team, they are team like all starting, okay. But when they're first together without a coach to put them together, they're a mess. They're everywhere. You can see them individually great, together, and they're a little bit questionable, right? So you let them practice with each other for 90 days, 3 months. And now they're good. Now they know
Now,
what they're
yeah,
doing. Now they can
yeah,
blind pass. Oh, yeah. Right? And that's great. But is it going to be as great as them working together for 5 years? If they play with each other for 5 years, they're a totally another beast.
yes.
right? But here's the thing, right? You are gonna have the aggression very different, right? Maybe when they're first together, everybody want to be like, I'm good, I got the superstar. But as you play together, that mellows out. They become a team, right? They throw away some of their ugly arguments or like eager or
Yeah.
egos.
The
They
the
throw that
petty
away.
stuff. Yeah.
That's what cigar is like. First, you put them together, all you taste is individual taste. 3 months later, now you can taste how they are like together. Not always gotta be good. Not always gotta be good. Sometimes you gotta take one player out, put another player in. Right? But if they're good, a few years later, it's gonna mellow out, but it's still gotta be good. And that's how a cigar is gonna be like. So our cigars, right now, they're playing very hard. They play with each other for like a year. That's it. They play very hard. And there might be stuff that, that they don't agree with each other. But as time goes, that's gonna mellow out. But they just gotta play as good together. That's what I think. I think there's literally 5 ingredients in there. 5 ingredients, something like 5 ingredients in there. So, take a basketball team. So what I worry is that some pellet is just not gonna agree with it, which is expected, right? Expected.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can't you can't have a pellet that's for everybody.
Yeah.
In
So
fact,
you shouldn't worry about that.
when we blend the cigar, we have like 4 or 5 people as the representative of each type of smoker in mind. Val, you're one of them. Val and Ben was one group. All right. And what is that group? It's that the group that does not retrohale.
You know what? I have a hard time. I've done it a few times, but I have a hard time doing it.
So you're one of the group that we thought of. Is the people who cannot retrohale. They gotta still taste the cigar. In order to do that, you gotta put some serious tobacco in there, so that even without retrohale, you gotta get that aroma. Right? And there's another group where it's people like me who hates blind spots. We don't like just smoke all of a sudden, like, a third of it, like you can't taste it. You're popping on something, but the smoke has no flavor. Maybe some tobacco, but just no distinguishable flavor. We don't want that. So each of the tobacco had to be a powerhouse on its own. So even if you burn it, even the filler needs to have taste. Like the issue with some cigar where you get blind spot is the filler has no taste. All right, filler has no taste. That's why when you smoke a part where the wrapper is not really doing well, now there's no taste. So our filler needs to be some serious stuff. Okay. And then we have group of people that love dark notes, coffee, chocolate, and etc. So we gotta make sure this Maduro tastes like a Maduro. And then we'll have a group of people that likes cigar to be bold.
Spicy.
Spicy, yes. But there's another group of people like me who doesn't like spicy, who retrohale the crap out of it. So that spicy had to be at the edge of what I cannot handle. So no, it's not a pepper bomb. There's some pepper in there. Not a pepper bomb. Some pepper in there. To a point where I can retrohale and go like not go like you know, to that point. So that bowl, we have flavor, no dead spot. Good enough for people who doesn't retrohale. And then lastly, sweetness. There are some people that like sweet tip for a reason. So how do you get to people who like sweet tip without putting sweet? Put tobacco that's sweet in there. Put some tobacco that's sweet in there.
Yeah.
Because some people really like sweetness. This cigar is kind of weird. Why? Why is it overwrapped like this? So, but one thing is not in mind, unfortunately. Because out of necessity, it cannot be. It's people who like natural cigars. People who like Connecticut, people who like naturals, we can't put that in mind because the fact that it's a Maduro, it doesn't allow it. So I think we gotta get some people that doesn't like it because they enjoy Connecticut or natural cigar more than Maduros. But that's just out of necessity. You can't fix that. Like you can't make people who like Connecticut to like a Maduro when their palate sways that way. This is just not it. And I'm pretty sure even it's a problem even any other cigar shop, cigar brands are facing. Is that even DTT? They're like, our cigar is bold. Our cigar is very bold. But in order to please people, I had to make a Connecticut because I just don't have one. There's not one cigar that's going to please people without Connecticut. So they did. Unfortunately, that's the part that I worry. Do we have more people that like Maduro or do we have more people that like Connecticut? Now, here's the thing. One good part is that people who smoke Connecticut eventually sway towards Maduro because Connecticut gets lighter and lighter as you smoke through your experience. So eventually they had to move out to a darker cigar. But that takes time. Now, I am not worried about El Presidente not being honest with me because I think he's an honest person and he will tell me as is. I'm afraid of people who are carrying the cigar for me that being nice about it. I'm afraid that people who smoked it are leaning towards a favorable reaction than a non-favorable. Because, like, let's say, Val, would you be like brutally honest or just simply honest or lightly honest if one of your friends to make a cigar and just give you one to smoke?
I'd be honest. I'd be brutally honest. Because that's what you want. You want to be told exactly what. Now you have to remember, it's their opinion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you want to hear what they think about it. You want to hear what they say about it, what their taste about it is. Because, and here's the other part. Because you want to know if you have in the back of your mind, as you are, of doing something again. So you want to have that. I call it, and you have to be able to handle it too. But I want to call it, and I hope people take it as being constructive criticism and not just criticism.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference to bitch and complain about it, as opposed to you giving me an explanation and then the reason behind my explanation. Okay, so the other part is me as the person sending the message and you as the receiver, you have to be able to not take it personal because it's not about you, it's about the cigar. Okay. And hopefully that'll give you a little insight about that cigar. Plus, you're going to be getting feedback from other people, and how you uh, document. Okay.
This is what my problem is because I'm skeptical. All right. My job is to be skeptical. What I do for a living is being skeptical. And risk avoidance is one of them, right? And I think majority of the people who is doing cigar for a living, which I'm not, has a group of other people who work under that, right? That company. Where when you have a cigar, you can have 15, 20, 30 people's opinion. And you got to hear a couple bad things, right? You got to hear a couple bad things.
Yeah, you expect that.
Now, here's the problem. So far, everybody who smoked out cigar did not give me any single bad thing. You see what my skeptical is? How can the cigar be no issue?
Again, you have to look at the palates of the people, and it's maybe something that it's hitting what they're expecting is, or it's hitting something that they like, or it's hitting something that is a surprise to them. So and I'll say this. Let's say I smoke it, and you know what? Yeah, it's surprising. It is pretty good. It's yeah, it's good. That you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're being a skeptical guy. Are you waiting? Are you waiting for or I'm thinking you're waiting to hear the not so good things about it.
Right. And we're really waiting for it. And we're hoping somebody will have it, but I haven't heard any. So that's where that's where I put myself in the mind or a situation of those business people. Like I'm pretty sure when other brands are making cigars, they have a whole group of people that agrees with it, right? It's before they release it, they gotta like it. They gotta, this blend's good. This works. Okay, we're gonna sell it, right? So they release it to the market. But because they didn't hear any criticism, when it gets to my hand, you get assholes like me tell you everything I don't like about it.
Well, I don't. You know what? I don't think. Well, first off, you shouldn't say that about yourself. You should say something like, "You get people like me who don't agree with
No,
some of the
because
things."
because I spend the money, so I am critical,
Yes, you
right?
can be critical. You can be critical. Okay, but yeah, you can be critical. I'm not saying not to be. Okay.
But because I'm critical, I put it out there, right? So you guys know,
Yes.
like when more than 90% of things that we review are probably is I don't like.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Okay.
I'm
Look.
very critical about cigars I buy, and it's got to be worth my money, right? So I put myself in that situation where, like, if I don't hear any negatives about the cigar right now, whatever they found as negative, it's got to be big. It has to be something big.
You can say, I think I think you can say something that is not favorable, or you can say something that is negative, but you can say it in a tactful way.
Now here's the thing, okay? Put it out there. I absolutely welcome critiques. I absolutely okay with people not liking the cigar, not having problem with the cigar and stuff like that. What I worry is that people who spend the money had a bad time with it. I don't mind if they want to say this cigar's bad or this cigar has problem or whatever. Whatever the problem it is, you tell me, then I can fix it, right? I can fix it next time. But I just don't like the fact that in my mind somebody's got to spend the $19 and absolutely hates it and not having a bad time and they just lost $19.
No, 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 no. That's okay. No, that's okay. And wait a minute. You see, wait, I learned. Wait. You stop. Don't say a word because I learned that from you.
Mhm.
All right, I learned that from you. You spend $19, you spend $20 on it, you spend 40, whatever you spend on it. It's your money. You take the chance on it. You smoke it. You didn't like it. Well, now you know.
Right. And as a consumer, I get that part of it.
Well, okay then.
But as a vendor now, as a person who create this, I want to have that not happen to people.
Well, look, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody that comes out with a cigar that starts out their brand are always hoping that I hope they like it. I hope they like it to a point where they, you know, would want to buy a couple and try it and maybe thinking about getting more later, as opposed to saying, "Man, I hope they say they don't like it and they'll never buy it again."
That's not that. My concern was more about their enjoyment than whether or not they'll buy it again. Because if they like it, they'll buy it again, right? If they want to,
Yes.
and some people might buy it again just for simply from out of the support of the cigar, just collect it, not smoke it again. I get that. I just don't want people to have bad time. You know, I don't want people. Whenever I do something, I try to put the receiver as a consideration rather than me as a consideration for that, because I think ultimately they are the supporter and don't disappoint your supporter. That's what I'm saying. I want everybody to be happy with it, even if the people that simply just want to collect it. I want you to be happy with it and enjoy the part of it, right? Because I think I will be personally disappointed to be in the party with everybody light up their cigar. Everybody's smoked it, and there's few people that just give me that face where like this thing is nasty. I'm gonna put it down because I'm too fat Tony. I'm gonna put it down. I'll be a little bit disappointed. I'll be like, ah, shit, you know.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. Yeah,
So
you're hoping
and
that
it is something I can't fix. That's something I can't fix at this point of the game right now. So it's but back in my mind. But yeah,
no. See, that's the thing. You're hoping it's going to come out for the best. You're hoping there's not going to be many disappointments. Maybe one expectation. Yeah, one expect somebody not to be crazy about it. Uh, but if this is good, you can't do anything about it now because if this is a maybe a one time, a limited, and maybe an only release, right?
it may be.
Now, if
Yeah,
you're, it may, I'm saying maybe, okay, I'm saying maybe, but you can only make a change to it is if somewhere down the line, and I'm talking several years, not next year, not the year, I'm talking 3 to 5 years, that you decide to say, you know what, I think it went well enough. We can actually try to do this as a regular production. That's when you'll be able to say, I can make a change here, I can make a change there. And that is where it's important to get the constructive criticisms and the feedback, no matter what kind of feedback it is.
I can tell you guys one thing about that. Okay, this cigar project ITS will never ever be a regular production. Never ever.
Okay.
That's one of the agreement that we have. We're just gonna release it one time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, and if we gotta do it, it's because we gotta fix something. So if I had changed something about it, Vitola or whatever, a blend or something like that, we might release it in the future, 5, 10 years down the line. Uh, but this project ITS this is it. Project ITS, this is it. So for those people who's wondering, Project ITS, this is it. 500 boxes, this is it. Um, because I want to give a legacy, a meaning to this project. So if I make it again, it wouldn't be Project ITS. That's why this is why value like don't think about the next thing because I think in the next thing because Project ITS isn't gonna continue after this. Right? If I plan to continue to make this cigar like continuously, then I wouldn't have to think about it. We already had the blend, we know where to source it, blah blah blah. We know all that. So there was nothing to think about. But the reason that I'm thinking about the next thing is because that is the end for this. That's the end of this
Okay.
project. This is the end of this project. And this is where it's gonna live. This is where it's gonna go. This is the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So I want this to leave a good memory and good legacy. This is why I have it in my back of my mind because I want this to have a good legacy about it. Now I also have I have argument probably 10, 15 times with Eric about it. Is that what if people love this cigar?
Well, they got to get them while they can if they love it.
But then that's the thing. $500 is eventually runs out. Eventually,
Yeah.
right?
Well, hey, you know what? That's that's part of yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it.
Right? Eventually runs out. What do we do about that? And he's like, no, we're not gonna release it again. Blah 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 blah. Now, I had a thought. I had a thought about doing what LFD has done. Is that only the people who bought the humidor gets a refill?
Hmm.
But I feel like it was an afterthought, and it wouldn't be fair to people who didn't plan to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had to get more thought about that in the future because in that case, I need to make an announcement to people who love it enough to say, hey, the only way to get this is if you get a humidor and you get a feed refill, and that will be a control amount of it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a thought. That's a thought. So there's few things that's hanging in the air for me. This is why when you say don't think about it, it's like it's really hard. Unless I'm thinking about something else, I can't stop thinking about this because this is still happening. So unless I'm start thinking about the next thing, something else, something that can be that's gonna take me a long time down the road, I just start planning this and that in my head. I had to think about this. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, if I was to make a cigar, that's gonna be forever, like core line. What's it gonna be? And then I argue with I also argue with Eric about that. Is that oh god, hold on. Um, is that what if this thing is so good? The next thing we release is a core line, and it disappoints people. Because I get that. Okay, all right. So let's put this in example. Okay, Alma Forte. Everybody loves it, right? It was great cigar. Plasencia Alma Forte. Who doesn't like? Who doesn't like it? You like it, right?
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoy it. So when they announced Plasencia Alma Forte Calero, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna go buy it. Bought a box right away before I smoked it. I smoked it. Disappointed. So disappointed. It took me like what 3 years to smoke it, and then I actually throw the last one away. Disappointed. And I go, I start to compare it back, right? This is not as good as Alma Forte. And now Alma Forte I mean,
Cielo?
Alma de Cielo came out. The one with the high altitude.
Yeah.
I smoked it. Not as good as Alma Forte. I compared to that again. Like, why would I buy this for 33 when I can buy that for 18? That was much better. That's gotta be forever for Placencia. Is that when you have something so good, everything that's not good is gonna get compared to the one that's good.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, if you make something, it has to be either as good or better.
Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
That's yeah. So your standard is here, so it's got to be here at least. A little higher is okay. A little lower is not okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the problem. What if that happens?
Yeah. It's a problem. It's a
Our
problem.
president there. He's gonna grow some tobacco. That's my problem, right? The problem is when it comes to business, you had to continuously improve yourself and make a better product, right? You're not gonna make iPhone that's worse than iPhone 1. Think about that, right? You're not gonna make a product like Samsung Galaxy 22 is not gonna be any better than 23. 23 has to be at least the same or better.
Right.
24 has to be at least the same or better than 23. Right? And for cigar, that seems to be not the case a lot of the time, and we tend to have the gripe and compare to something that's better before.
And I again, a lot of that, just like you mentioned those phones. I mean, a lot of it has to do is the brand expectation. Oh, it's coming out by Placencia, man. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. Well, we know sometimes it's not.
Well, okay, think about it this way. Like even Espinosa, for the knuckle sandwich, the 56, 57,
55.
55.
Yeah.
Because all three is different,
Mhm.
we compare it. 57 is not as good. The 56, we'll complain about it. Don't get 57, gets 56. Because 56 is much better. And 55 was better than 56. What the hell? You see what I'm saying? When you have a good product come out, beating it became your mission. But for a cigar, this with a limited, finite amount of choices, beating something that's good is hard. And you'll always get compared to the one that you couldn't beat. It's rough. And my mind always have those things going on. I'm sitting over there doing nothing. I'll be like, what can I do to beat it? I can beat it by price, right? I can make things cheaper. I can make it so that it's lighter. Everybody can smoke it, right? I thought about making a Habano instead of Maduro. But none of those cases will beat that because in order to fit those categories, inherently, it's not going to beat it. Right? It means that number one, I had to use a budget that's less than half of what I have to make this cigar for the next cigar in order to be a core. Right? So instead of $19 range, $20 range, I had to sell it at $10 range. That means I have half of the budget. Right? Or in order to do that, half the budget, that means my selection of tobacco is limited. Right? The grades of the tobacco, the type of tobacco now is limited. Unless there's only one way to fix that is if I make a large amount of it. Now the price goes down. That wouldn't work either. So this is what I'm working with. And it's not necessarily a problem. It's a good problem to have. is how do I solve that? When I smoke cigar with a friend, they're better than when I smoke alone. The experience something to do with it. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And when you smoke inside, indoor and outdoor, two different experiences too. I realized that the cigar ITS is way more fragrant in the smell outside. Outside.
Really?
Oh yeah. The fragrance when I light out the cigar is totally different when I did it outside than the inside. I tested that. But for some reason, I think it's because I smell it. The cigar's stronger outside.
Mm.
So yeah, the situation how you smoke the cigar changes, and that experience changes too, right? And I think a stronger cigar, especially when you're talking to people, gets lighter when you're talking to people because you spend more time between puffs,
Between your puffs, yeah.
and you just don't realize it. So the cigar actually gets easier to smoke, and thus you have better experience. You take your time on it. Box and label design changes. Yes, you're absolutely right. We talked about using plain box, just wood box, plain wood box. So we thought about that. Okay, but even that is not gonna decrease much. In fact, it's gonna bother me more because I'm doing something that I personally hate myself. Now the band doesn't have to change. The band actually more economical if I don't change them. All right, just to change the second band, I had to make a few more dies, and the dies are $350, as you guys know. So not changing it is actually better. All right, not changing is better. So yeah, I have those thing in my mind, and it doesn't bother me for it doesn't bother me. I think is constructive when I think about them, but it's there. It's what I worry about. You know, and all those things surface more when my wife was reading our website. You know, and now when I was writing the price release on the cigar, and you start putting all these things together, you start to think, okay, I'm only saying the good things because I can only think about the good things. But what are the bad things? I don't like to have something that only have good but no bad because nothing's perfect. Perfection is not perfect. Perfection is not perfect, and that's what I believe. Perfection is not perfect. So I need to find out what's bad with it, and I need to improve upon it. And I know that this is the time that's gonna happen. I think I'm nervous about that. Dr. Phil probably cannot practice in Arizona. Don't worry, I'll invite Dr. Phil to Arizona so he can smoke with us and help us at the same time. No, Dr. Phil probably cannot practice there. Best experience to smoke a cigar is in the summer while floating and tubing down the river with a friend, camping along in the river. You know, if you have the right friend and the right time, even if you're doing nothing, standing in the middle of nowhere in the desert, a cigar will taste good. The cigar will taste good based with your situation. It's a catalyst. It's a catalyst to a good conversation. It's a catalyst to spend good time with friends. So either way, that is gonna be good. Like I said, I'm not worried about the good part. I'm worried about the bad part. And what is the bad part? I don't know. What pairs good with ITS? Okay, I can tell you that for sure. When we're blending ITS, we're blending with coffee, water, and Coke. Coffee, water, and Coke. Unfortunately, can't drink on the job, so we didn't drink a bourbon while we're at it. But we definitely paired it with coffee, water, and Coke, and all three was fine.
But it is safe to say that a bourbon or a whiskey will probably be good with it.
I think what's gonna go good with it, bourbon will go good with it. Something with a bite will go good with it. Um, I'm not sure about Scotch.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think Scotch will. It's either going to be because of the malt or the peatiness of it, and I think that's
I
gonna,
think the peatiness is gonna kill it.
yeah.
All right,
But I
so I'm
think,
not sure about Scotch. I love Scotch. I have not paired it with a Scotch because smoking that did not make me want to drink a Scotch. You need something more smoky, something more charred, something more bite to go with it. Not necessarily sweet. Okay, I don't think sweetness is gonna go good with it. When we were pairing with the coffee was just black, and it pairs well. It pairs very well. Okay, I think bourbon will usually work because the way it is,
yeah,
and I paired it with a Japanese whiskey one day. Japanese whiskey was way too light with it. Japanese whiskey was way too light with it. Well, now Japanese whiskey is almost like a Scotch, but not really. It's more fruity, so it was too light with it. Okay. Uh, I don't think beer is gonna pair good with it, unless it's something really like hoppy. All right, something with a lot of hop. It's kind of bitter. They might do it. Maybe Guinness. Like if you like drink Guinness.
yeah. I was thinking maybe a Guinness might, because Guinness is a heavy, it's a
Okay.
heavy beer.
But my problem is that the cigar is strong. So when you have something that goes with it that impairs your ability to handle nicotine, might do the opposite. Oh damn, Macallan 18. I like Macallan. Kind of good stuff.
Mm.
Raul says that he's bringing Eagle Rare, so I'm curious to try both, Scotch and bourbon to pair with it. But I know coffee pairs very well with it, and that's what kind of the goal is that everybody who smokes cigar don't always pair with alcohol, but you definitely pair with soda, you definitely pair with water here and there, and you definitely pair with coffee. And I really want people to enjoy their nice cup of coffee with it in like afternoon or something like that. So coffee was very important for us to make sure that it pairs well.
Would you drink coffee in the afternoon?
I drink coffee throughout the day. I'm drinking coffee right now.
Don't tell me drink that cold stuff.
Hmm?
Huh.
Hot coffee versus cold coffee. Now, wintertime, I drink hot coffee. And summertime, I drink cold coffee.
Okay.
But in the morning, first coffee I get is hot coffee. Warm out my stomach a little bit, you know. Now, keep in mind, my time zone is very different than yours. This is afternoon for me.
Well, depend. Yeah, depending if you're talking to the West Coast people.
No, this is still afternoon for me. 2 hours. Actually, no. 2 hours from now, it'll be noontime for me.
1 hour difference from you.
Yeah, but I'm running Asia time.
But you're not. Okay, yeah, you're on an Asian time clock when you're working, right?
I work every day.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Palette's
Yeah,
gonna be ready. Yeah. Oh
I
my
forgot.
god. I started finding myself enjoying the $8 to $10 cigar Nestor, blah blah blah, CL, Sombrera, City Moves. More than 13 plus cigar is a mental thing or is that production profits? Okay. Cigars happy medium For a mass-produced cigars, happy medians between $12 to $16 right now, currently, right? $12 to $16 has your best bang for the buck cigar. Best bang for the buck. So if you go out there, you find the brand that makes mass-produced cigars. I'm talking about big brands like heritage brands and stuff like that. $12 to $16 range have their best things. All right, their best things is not their $30+ things. Their best things are the commonly acceptable things. Those are your best bang for the buck. And as you go up in price range, it starts to diminish in return. And until once you get to the $25 point, the diminishing return kind of plateaus. Like what you're paying for is no longer tobacco. Okay. So right, enjoy your night, Martin. So there is a reason why you like something sub 13. All right. So, something 13 because that's what your preference is. Right? Something above that price range is not an everyday cigar. It's a once in a while cigar. In fact, you gotta probably go broke if you smoke a $20 cigar every day, 3 cigars at a time. Think about this. All right.
Yes.
If you have average earning and you're smoking $20 cigars a day, 3 cigars at a time, you gotta go broke. It's not the right price range for most people to smoke that. The cigars at that price range, so 16 and up, are meant to be either one of the cigar for the 3 that you have, or once a week cigar. All right? Yeah. And those are supposed to be rewarding rather than the best thing I ever tasted. So yeah, most people it's gonna sway toward that price point because that price point is the pretty one, it's the best thing. Now, can you go under that? You can go 6 to 8, 6 to 8, or even 6 to 10. It's more like the budget-friendly beginner kind of thing where the filler doesn't do a lot of things, but the wrapper does everything kind of thing. That's what you gotta get. And those are more like the single flavor. So think about this: like if you have one wrapper that you particularly like a lot, those are where it shines because they put a good wrapper and just whatever filler. The filler doesn't do much, right? So when you go to the $12 to $16 cigars, you're smoking a cigar where the wrapper, binder, and filler all kind of do something. They all are in a good enough grade where they give flavor. There be more transitions. There might be more flavor. They're a little bit more pungentness. They're usually in the medium strength category. And below that, mild plus to medium. So it depends on where you're at. So you're currently, Mike, at the medium plus range of smoking. So that's your sweet spot. It does not mean that nothing in the higher range is not going to do good because I can guarantee you none of those cigars that you just named is going to be an Alma de Forte. $18 cigar is going to be there any day, right? Those cigars that you're talking about isn't going to be as flavorful as a late hour $22 cigar because those are designed to be that way. You're not going to smoke every late hour every night. That will break your bank. It's not designed to be that way. Even me, I'll smoke one expensive cigar and 2 other cigar, whatever. I'll have between cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And my between cigar every night is like $3. It's just so that I continue smoking. That's all. So that's where it's at. Project ITS is not a cigar that you want to smoke 3 a day. That strength, definitely not chain smoking. I wouldn't recommend you smoke that cigar back to back. Even Eric wouldn't want to smoke it back to back. He handled more strength than me. He wouldn't want to smoke that back to back. Now, did we do that? Yes, we did. I mean, we smoked 3 back to back when we were blending. But that's definitely not fun. All right. Different breed of cigar for majority of people unless you got F your money. Okay. Unless you got F you money. Okay. Yeah. Even people who's smoking who have FU money, doesn't smoke like that. They just buy cigar that are more expensive that doesn't have the they're usually Cubans or whatever to do at that. I mean, you wouldn't want to put that much cigar strength, that much nicotine on you. It's just not. It doesn't feel well. It doesn't feel well. You can't focus on the conversation. You're focusing on that pressure that you get when you have too much nicotine. That's not a good feeling, right? When you have a nice bourbon, that bourbon is giving you a little tipsy. Your brain's a little bit light, and then you smoke something strong. That's gonna get you that pressure. You don't want to put any more. You gotta kind of slow down. You gotta chill. You gotta kind of calm down a little bit before you go to the next one. So those cigars not designed to do that, and you wouldn't want to do that either. I mean, for example, Rocky Patel 60, great cigar, but it's heavy. Chain smoking that doesn't feel good, right? Chain smoking that doesn't feel good. You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to do that. So there are things. There are cigars a different category to do different things. A lot of time you'll smoke one heavy cigar and then go to a Habano or Connecticut, the second cigar, and then you go to another one to finish it up for the night. And I can tell you that ITS is definitely a finisher. Definitely a finisher. Not something that you want to do all day. I wouldn't.
So it's either going to be your first or your last of the day,
Oh yeah.
right?
Now, if it's the first of the day, you got time to kind of wear in and then kind of let that strength go away, smoking a lighter cigar. But it should definitely not be like you smoke a strong one or a medium one and you smoke that one, expect to smoke another one.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you smoke it, you'll know what I mean. I mean, and everybody's ability to handle is different. So it's obviously by your body weight, right? If you're a big guy, then yeah, you can handle more. Then maybe you could, but I wouldn't think that's enjoyable. At least for me, it wasn't enjoyable to smoke back to back. When I smoked 3, and only halfway through, I didn't smoke the entire cigar. I was like, I need some air. I had to walk out. Outside is 100, 104, 105 degrees. I'm like sitting outside, burning hot. Because that starts to kind of wear in. And like, if I don't stop now, I'm gonna start to have the cold sweat. And then you're like, it's not gonna be a good experience. I don't think anybody who's looking to get sick when they're smoking a cigar. So pace yourself on that cigar. I'm pretty sure a lot of people say, Tony is just like, he's just weak, can't handle tobacco and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody handles it different. I'm pretty sure some people are smoking this. This is just fine, perfect, fine. I tell some people like, when you smoke an Andalusian bowl, be careful, that catch you. So it catches some people. There are people that's like, what are you talking about? Totally fine. Right? When I was smoking the Murcielago Oro, I was fine with that, but when Martin smoked it, he got sick. So different situation. Depends on what you eat too. So I would say pace yourself. Strong cigar. It will drag you to the shadow if you keep smoking it too much. So yeah. Well, like I say, I think this is a good thing. I like to keep my mind on those things. It sounds like I'm like, oh, Tony's down, Tony's worrying, Tony's blah, blah. It's not. It's healthy for me. This is what I do every day. I'm thinking about all the risks that I'm taking. Can I solve some of them? And what I cannot do anything about. That's always on my mind. How do I do the best as I can do while avoiding all the problems that may arise? And it's good that you never did, but I like to prevent that from happening. We're Asians. We strive for A's, not B's, not C's. So I had to constantly think about those things. Those things are constantly on my mind. You know, it's like, oh, what if this? What if that? What if this and that? You know, and I put that all that in my mind, try to see what I can solve. Sometimes get you guys' opinion. You know, you guys obviously a third pair of eyes are usually the best, right? And my best way is to tell you guys what I'm thinking, and maybe you guys have some suggestion for me, because me alone isn't gonna solve all the problem. But when everybody put their brains together, there it is. There's the solution. Now that goes with sending anybody who's in depression. All right, if you are in a depression, go talk to somebody. If you have a depression, go talk to somebody. If you feel like there's a problem that you cannot solve, you're in the end of the world, go talk to somebody, because your problem that you think that you cannot solve, somebody might have a solution that has been done. When you have a problem that you cannot solve, someone might already have a solution that you have not tried. I'm talking seriously, right? Just think of it this way, right? You might be a kid from somewhere in Africa, and lack of example, because I saw value in front of me. This is why the example was popping in my head, right? You can't see. You have heavy nearsightedness. You can't see. But where you're at, there is no such thing as glasses. That's the end of the world. Can't see. But had you talked to somebody who had ever seen glasses, they'll tell you there's such thing as glasses. Right? Had you talked to somebody, there's glasses, you know. Just put on glasses, you can see. It's like that. You just had to talk to somebody that might have a solution. There's always somebody out there that has a solution. The only thing that human cannot solve today is death. That's it. Everything else can be resolved. Everything out there can be resolved except death. Which I still had to talk to a Christian about that. I need to talk to a Christian about that. Me and my wife had a question the other day. We're saying, if Christians believe when you die and you're a good person, you go to heaven, right? And heaven's supposed to be the best place, closest to God, right? Why isn't anybody celebrate death? The tough one, right? When Pope died, nobody celebrated. When Pope was sick, nobody go like, he's just going back to God. It's great. Just wait. No one did that, right? Everybody tried to save him. But if Christian belief is that if you go see God because you're Pope, you did God's mission, shouldn't you go straight to heaven? Repeat the question. Okay. If you believe that after your death, being someone good and believing God, God's people, you go to heaven and stays in the eternal greatness of heaven, right? Happiness, God's embrace, and all that stuff. Shouldn't you celebrate death? So if that's the case, if you celebrate death, when Pope, the one that just passed away, was sick, shouldn't Pope just say, don't treat me, I'm going back to God, and everybody should celebrate? But that wasn't the case. People were sad when Pope left. People were trying to save him so he doesn't die. People will try to give him treatment so he doesn't die. That's the opposite of celebrating it. See what I say, Val? Not all the questions appropriate.
Yeah.
But I think this one is kind of light. This one's kind of light. This one's kind of light. So if you should celebrate death, and this is by no means promoting death, okay? This is just that question. Why doesn't Pope just go straight to God? Well, Jesus obviously got to view death a lot different than human because Jesus is the Son of God and he knows where he's going. He's seen it. He knows where that is. He's just going home. But all of us are not going home. We don't know how that looks like. We don't know how heaven looks like. We know how heaven looks like from how he described it, or how it's described in the Bible. But that's essentially going to someone else's house that you don't know, right? But none of us really celebrate death. None of us really celebrate death. Pope doesn't just go like, go to the top of the church and go, God, I'm coming. No, they don't do that, right? When they get sick, they go get treatment, right? They don't just go, I'm sick. I've done my thing. I'm just gonna lie here. Don't give me a doctor. Right? The Pope doesn't go like, don't give me a doctor. I'm done. I'm gonna go see the God. I'm going home. Tough one, right? It's not really my question. It's the one of those things I talk with my wife because my wife been watching a show that talk about heaven and hell. But obviously that kind of stuff is more Asian religion driven than Christian driven. So that kind of question comes out. It's like, okay, because an Asian culture, we don't celebrate death, meaning because for Asian culture, human don't go to heaven. Gods live in the heaven. Human will go through hell and reincarnate after they pay their debt. All right, they pay their debt. So every sin that you do, you have a debt to pay. So when you go to hell, you pay your debt from punishment. And once you're done with your punishment, you reincarnate to the next life. And whatever that you owe to another person or another being, you pay that through life. Okay, you pay that through life. So like say for example, if last life I decided to step on Val's toes and broke Val's big toe. I broke your big toe. Next life, you might be the one that break my big toe for no reason. Okay. So that's how it is. So we don't celebrate death. And we constantly burn goods to our ancestors because hell has nothing for you. And that's why we do it. And I know our president, I know what you're thinking, but I'm like a very, 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 very strict Taoism / Buddhism person. So nothing's gonna get me baptized. we believe in Buddhism to the death. Or we believe in that. And it's always been something that's passed down in my culture. So it's not because Buddhism is not a religion. It's a lifestyle. Buddhism is not a religion. You don't have to go to church. You don't ever have to pray to God if you don't want to. You don't ever have to pray. You don't have to thank God for giving you anything. Buddhism is a lifestyle. Buddhism is do good, you'll be fine. Do bad, you might not pay for it right now. You got to pay for it later. So treat people how you want to be treated. Because if you do bad, eventually pay for it. You trick somebody, you lie to somebody, you eventually have to pay for it. That's a lifestyle. That's a lifestyle. It's not something where I can atone my sin and tell God my sin and do good deeds to make that go away. No. So good deeds does not erase your bad deeds. Good deeds does not erase your bad deeds. But good deeds, so good deed gets rewarded and bad deed gets paid. That makes sense? So for example, if I go out there, a poor guy, homeless, I decide to kick him in the face for no reason. But then the next day I go to a different beggar, a homeless person, and I give him money. That doesn't even it out. That doesn't even it out.
So you got to give the money who you kick.
No, that still doesn't even it out. That still doesn't even it out. You might have done something good, and that's to your credit, that might have benefited you later on. But that does not take away the sin that you have committed.
It was purely an oversight. That's all. I didn't mean to kick you. It just happened.
That's I didn't see him.
I didn't see it, buddy.
So the lifestyle tells you not to do bad deeds, because even if you do good deeds, it's not gonna fix it. Are we sinners? I can 100% tell you we are all sinners. Period. Done. Even saints make mistakes. Even saints make mistakes. Human makes mistakes, okay? Human makes mistakes. We're human. We make mistakes. I can 100% tell you there is not one person that never made a mistake. Or never broken a law. Or never broken committed a sin. Zero. Nada. Zero, okay? You're a human being. You have made a mistake. All right? If you're a human being, you have made a mistake. Try to be the best person you have. You can be. All right? Try to be the best person you can be. Am I a sinner? Yeah. Do I have greed? I do have greed. All right? Do I gluttonous? I eat more than I need. I guarantee you that. All right? I guarantee you that I eat more than I need. And I waste food. I can tell you that for sure. Every week I buy grocery, I throw away things that expired. I'm not perfect. I can tell you that with 100% certainty. 100% certainty that I am not perfect, and I am not a person that can say I've never made a mistake. I can say that for sure. I just told you my sins. 7 deadly sins. I probably did all 7 of them.
Gluttony. Yeah.
All 7 sins I probably committed. I can tell you that for sure. No, the other ones. What are the other ones? What are other ones? Technically, everything that you do is a sin. We all sin. I mean, when I talk about sin, maybe I'm not talking about it in a Christian way, but I think in the world overall, all religions try to tell you to do good, right? And by the way we are raised, we know what's wrong. You know what's wrong. You know what's wrong, what you can do, what you cannot do. We're human, we can think, right? We all know speed limit. How many of you drive speed limit?
I do.
Well, you don't drive. Right? You can be atheist. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to believe anything in order to be a good person. I think we can agree on that. You don't have to believe in any religion in order to be a good person, because you know what's good and what's bad. The religion is only to help you to have a guide.
Yeah, it's a guide for
good.
value. A guide of values. A guide for values, I think.
A religion is just a guide, whatever you want to believe. But it does not stop you from being a good person. You can be a good person without believing anything in the world. You can be like, I don't believe anybody but myself. Everything out there is lie. But it doesn't stop you from being a good person. It doesn't stop you from, okay, that animal on the street needs help. Let's help him. Put him to the side. Right? It doesn't stop you from like, okay, this old lady tried to cross the street. She having trouble. Let's go help her. Right? It doesn't stop you from like, Val is checking out that chick. Let's try to get that chick over closer. Val does a good deed, right?
Yes, I do a good deed.
Right? So you can do good deeds without believing anything. But the most important thing is that you should do it without expecting a return. Did you watch the same video? I don't know what I'm talking about. But I can tell you that for sure. That you can do good deeds without it. You can have pure heartedness to go help people. Yeah, treat people how you like to be treated. To make you feel that way. No, I'm more like the way I'm brought up. I have tough childhood. Very, very tough childhood. And when I in the tough spot, there are many times where I wish somebody helped me. There are many, many times where I wish I got some help. But that wasn't there. So when I got to a point where I can help others, I start to help people if I could. Where are you from? I'm from Taiwan. So I know my family is not necessarily the best kind of family. You know, they all went through divorce. They all went through their share of family issue, and then obviously Asian culture. It's all about money and all that stuff. So cool. Should I move there? Is that better than America? All right. L3 man. I'm gonna tell you this, okay? And keep that in mind, all right? There's no country better than home. There is no country better than home. What does that mean? And don't judge whether or not your life is good based on what country you're in, but based on what's around you, your home, your family, your friends. How you live is based on you. You gotta make that change, right? Country, every country have their share of problem. Good night, our presidente. Every country have their own share of problems. There's no perfect countries. All right. So you can't say, okay, America have all these political problems, so I'm gonna move to X whatever place. It's not gonna solve your problem. It's not gonna solve your problem. Your problem is, have you focused on your life? Have you focused on people around you? Have you focused on your family? That's your question, right? No matter where you go, you gotta work. No matter where you go, there's a government system. No matter where you go, there's got to be laws and stuff like that you don't abide to, you don't like. No matter where you go, there's got to be crime. There's no one country that has no crime. All right. So, which country you're in is not gonna change anything. Yeah, camping is like living it up, man. Padron. So, I'll give you that. Well, my wife and I have problem with crazy think you're nuts. I don't understand that. I don't think I understand that question. I wouldn't change my location based on one person either. I wouldn't want to move to a different country because I met one crazy person. What? There's no guarantee that if you move to the next person, I can't. Well, my wife and I don't get that. I don't get your sentence. Like I wouldn't change my environment just because that. No, saying is how I'm thinking. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get your sentence. Yeah, I think you need to restructure your sentence and put some comments on it. Maybe that'll be easier for me to read. Just take your time and type it out because I don't think I get it. But I wouldn't change countries. I wouldn't change location. I just focus on what I can do because like every country have their problem. Like you think America political problems is an issue? Go to Taiwan. They have people that fights in the freaking courthouses, but their life is just fine. You're living in a situation where you worry about a problem that isn't solvable by you. We have this misconception of thoughts that think that we have influence over political issues. All right, you think that you have influence over political issues. You don't. Politics is one thing. Politics is that. Politics is a big propaganda on both sides. All right, it's fight for power. There's absolutely nothing you can do to change any of that. We can have a whole community of cigar smokers and go like we want cigars to be free. Ain't gonna change anything. We want no tax on cigar. Ain't gonna change anything. Government's gotta do whatever they need to do, and then it changes from time to time. That's it, right? This year you pay the X amount of tax. Next year you pay a different amount of tax. That's it. Nothing you can change about that. There's nothing you can do. You can vote for whoever you like, and even if you vote it, that's one vote. And that vote isn't gonna change the fact that what they're gonna do. That's why you go to America, right? It's not. I don't go to America because of things like that. All right, I go to America when I was young for the education. Right, I don't have much of family per se to have to keep me in Taiwan, so I come to America for the education, and I think that changing location isn't gonna do any good. Like do I not have a place to live? No, no, no. Okay, here's the thing: the education might suck today, but during my era and the era before that, the education was great. So, and here's the thing about education is that if you think your teacher is going to teach you everything to you, like you expect that if you go to school you gotta learn everything, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong to the core. Okay, you are the person who's learning. School is a catalyst to help you learn. You got a textbook, you can read it. You got a library, you can learn stuff. Your education is not determined on the school that you go to. It depends on you. So if your education sucks, it's because you didn't try to learn. Let's put it out there, okay? If your education sucks, it's because you didn't try.
And you picked the wrong major.
Yo, who's Mr. Who or well, I don't get that. I don't get that. Yo, who's Mr. Who or the THR? Yeah. Your education depends on you. My wife and I went to the same school. Different college, but same high school. Okay? And we don't have the same level of education. We don't. Like my wife stops her education at bachelor. I continue to go to get a PhD because my wife just doesn't think that she's retaining all the knowledge that she's learning. She's just not good at learning. She's just not someone that wanted to go out of her way and go learn beyond what she was taught. Right? Somebody can teach you how to fix a car. But to be able to fix a car, you should go to a car and fix it. So you can go to the same school or have different level of education, but that education depends on you, whether or not you want to learn, and whether or not, and also whether or not your brain's wired to learn whatever that you wanted to learn. You know, I can go take an art class and it's gotta teach me absolutely nothing because I can't draw for shit. Okay, I can't draw for shit. But if you give me something math, something technology related, I can have a ball in it. You're saying that education is different? Yeah. At my at least at my era, you can fail out of school, so you have that drive to not fail out of school. But if you give me a school system where you just can't fail, we're just gonna push you up, then yeah, nobody wants to learn. Nobody wants to learn. In the 90s, in the early 2000s, you know how easy it is to go on probation in your university? Very easy. I have a lot of friends that went on probation. In my era, you can actually can stay back in high school. You can actually not graduate from high school.
Age out.
But nowadays, pretty hard. Nowadays, it's super hard to fail out of high school. You can do nothing and literally graduate. And that's what it is. The drive for you to have that knowledge. If you just stays on whatever the okay, you only gotta see the teacher a 1 hour a day per course. How much information do you think you can retain? The rest is up to you. That's why there's homework. That's why the teacher tells you to read the book. How much information retains after that is yourself, man.
That's why you get a syllabus. Yep.
Yeah. You gotta learn your own thing. You gotta have that drive to learn beyond what the teacher teaches you. That's where the education difference is. You think those people that is technology whiz, they just take whatever math course that's in school and then be that? No, they go home, they try to program, they try to do something, they try to learn the software, they try to do something on top of their own in order to progress. Okay, in order to progress, and that part is up to you. And some people are just not good at learning; they're good at hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
So education is the same. It's that today it's just that it doesn't have that driving factor to make you want to do better. And to be honest, it's because of that, now a bachelor degree is just a piece of paper. It's so freaking easy, and I can tell you that for sure. It's so freaking easy to today to go through your high school, to go through your bachelor degrees with a breeze. You can party all day long, and you'll still get your bachelor.
It's much easier today.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, back in the early 2000s, that was hard. You gotta put some effort in it. You gotta put some effort in it. And when I look at some of the things that are being taught today, it's just not enough. They made it so easy that you can't flunk. Now, back in my time, people in my school actually compete with each other how many colleges they can they can get accepted into. How many colleges they can get accepted into. We have people that literally just sit in the table and says, I got accepted into 16 universities. 16. And 5 of them offer them like full tuition. That's what people want. People have the drive to get that. Today, they don't. They go to a university, study on a major that does not do anything for them, like art, literature, and stuff like that. Like, bioscience, ocean science, and stuff like that. And then go get a job in Starbucks.
Yeah.
But back in my time, whatever you get for the major is gotta be your future. It has a big part of what you gotta get for a job when you get out. Big part. Now, people don't care. Piece of paper. Oh, you got a bachelor's degree? Good for you. That's like a consolation prize. There you go. You went through the year, you paid the tuition. In fact, some people are like, I don't want to pay tuition, let the government pay for it. Very different, very different, very different, very different. So I wouldn't say my education sucks. Education is all the same. The syllabus is all the same. Right? You go to a class of 20, they're all learning the same thing. However, why is it somebody does better than the other? Because those other people tried. All right, because some of those people go home, sacrifice a few hours of their life, and then go study some more. Go read the textbook. Go learn something. You know, today, oh, I'm sitting over here, I'm watching YouTube. Instead of watching a couple of cat dancing around, they're like, okay, how do you do this? This is YouTube instruction how to do this. I learned something new. Right? Some people might like engineering. They're like, little kid, go home, first thing they watch, I'm gonna watch how people take apart this engine. Right? You go online, you're like, okay, I'm search how does engine work? How does VTEC work? How does variation valve work? How does how does fire work? How does heat works? Those information out there. It's just up to you to look for it. You only have so many, and the school teach you the minimum required. Minimum. What you can learn in 45 minutes. Minimum. And that's all you got to get from school. That's what school does, is to give you the concept so you can go learn the rest of yourself. That's school. All right? You can get the same education anywhere, to be honest with you. You can get the education system is all the same. They teach you how to write, how to read, how to do math. The rest is you. You know how to add numbers together? Okay, fine. What, you think that people who are engineers doesn't use calculators? You're out of your mind. You think people who are engineers doesn't use spell check? You're out of your mind. You think people who came out of like high school automatically know how to write their resume? You're out of your mind. Right? It's all up to you to go learn it. And unfortunately today, nowadays, we have a problem with that is the parents isn't doing what people do in the 80s and 90s, where the parents enjoy time to teach their kids something. Like the father might like to work on cars, and they'll let their kids watch. Hey, kid, this is the engine. This is the car. This is the car door. This is how it works. This is some power tool. Learn how to do it. Or, hey, this is our farm. This is a horse. This is how you take care of a horse. Blah, blah, blah. They don't have that anymore. Hey, kid, daddy's gonna do barbecue. I'm gonna teach you how to do barbecue. This is meat. Look at this piece of meat. Beautiful meat. This is how you select a meat. That's very rare now. That's very rare. Everybody say they want to do that with their kids, but they're doing that less and less now. Less and less. I see less and less people like, you know what? Can't hang out with you, Tony, today. I have to go. I want to spend some time with my son. I'm gonna show him how to take apart a header. Well, I gotta teach my kid how to do some programming today. I'm gonna do a robot today. I'm gonna say when my kids put a Lego together, so he actually know how to plan. That isn't a lot today. It's more like, I got my kid this iPad, he's gonna play with it. I got my kid this PlayStation, he's gonna play with it. It's not gonna bother me. I'm gonna go out and have a beer. Right? Val, you probably have some kind of that kind of memory when you're young, right? Doing something with your parent.
Yeah. But yeah, those times are totally different than now because technology has changed the automotive industry. But yeah, there's a lot less of that going on. And you're right about the education. It's only the teachers only can teach you so much. The rest you really have to start to do on your own. And the degrees now don't carry the weight that they used to. I mean, look at the online education system now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you talk about how easy it is to get a degree. Yeah,
Yeah, you literally sit through it. You sit through the
yeah,
thing, go get a test, click, 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 you got your degree.
yeah.
Yeah. Back in our time, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. Technology has made things so much easier that people don't know things. Like I've seen those videos where online they go out there and say how many states U.S. have. They don't even know. They're like, who's the first president of the United States? They don't even know. Really? That's where the difference is. And I think that needs to change. But I mean, obviously it's not up to me to change that. It's still up to the family, the parents, how to change that. If you want if you want your kids to come out to be knowledgeable, you got to encourage them to learn. And learning is sacrifice of your time. But however, that once you learn something, you know it for life. A lot of kids can read. Yeah, right now a lot of kids couldn't write cursive. A lot of kids cannot write cursive. I find that really ridiculous.
They stopped teaching that.
Mm-hmm. That's going backward. This is one of those things I hate about when it comes to Chinese. So in Taiwan, we learn traditional Chinese. We learn how to write traditional Chinese. Okay. In China, because they go through the revolution, a lot of people cannot read, so they simplify the Chinese. That's why we have simplified Chinese in China, because they want to lower the education level so most people can learn and read. And they just go backwards. They're like, we gotta make everything easier so you can. And US is doing this right now. We're not gonna teach you cursive because it's too hard for you guys. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? No, you still teach them. Some people might learn it, some people might not learn it, but that's fine. You still teach them, right? Because okay, we got three type of writing system in the U.S. We got the regular standard ABC, regular writings, right? Capital letter and not capital letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a cursive, which people eventually get to that when they write faster. All right, and then we got the medical writing. You can never read the medical writing. Unless you're in the medical industry, you're not gonna be able to read the medical writing. That thing's
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
I now can tell you, anybody who's in the medical industry, you cannot read the medical reading unless you know exactly. You just read the first letter, last letter, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got three different kind of writing. If you cannot read cursive, you definitely cannot read medical writing. It's not even close. It's not even close. Okay? So to say that people can't even read cursive, we have a problem. Cursive is a beautiful thing. Cursive is a very beautiful writing. I'm not telling you to write things like the medieval kind of writing. I'm telling you to write ABC and cursive. That's not hard. You write fast enough, you'll write cursive, even if you don't want it to. So to go backward in language, I think that's horrible. I think that's horrible. When it comes to a very developed language, and you go backwards, you're killing your history. You're killing your history. You know how many people who does not read cursive in 20, 30 years, and then they go back to read historical document, they're not going to be able to read shit? You know how many people is not going to be able to read the Declaration of Independence, original document on the wall because they couldn't read cursive? How sad is that? How sad is that? You're killing your own history. Nobody will be. This is why, like, some languages died. Some languages die. You can't read that because of that. What is that? Why is Gen Alpha slang so bad? I do read a book. Do you spell read wrong and book wrong, right? If you you need to when it comes to education system, you need to have a bare minimum, right? The bare minimum is allow people to read, allow people to understand history, because history is the mistake that you have made in life, right? History. Allow people to read and allow people to read history. If you take away the key part of reading history, which is cursive, you're making the next generation forget about history. Because none of them is gonna be able to go back and read it. None of them will be able to read a storybook where they have a writing, actual writing, and the picture of the document, and you write, oh, what gibberish! I can't read it. You're killing your history by doing that. The minimum required. That's like saying that, you know what, math is too hard, so we gotta stop doing additions. We just goes directly to, oh no, we gotta stop doing multiplication because people can't understand multiplication. So we just gotta do only addition. So from now on, 2 times 4 will just be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Because even though that's easier, we can't teach you that. Too hard for some people to understand. You wouldn't take that part out of it. Why would you take that out of it? Makes no sense. Imagine people go like, what do you learn in college? I learned how to write cursive. Isn't that why they put a calculator in our pocket? Unfortunately, calculator can only do so much. I mean, I gotta tell you the truth. That's what it is. Your phone's calculator can only do so much. Your calculator. You know, when you're doing something like something beyond algebra, something like calculus, calculators start to be more and more useless. Not saying that you need everyday life. You don't. I mean, you're not gonna do calculus buying something grocery at work. But if you're in the, calculate statistic and stuff like that, you will. Right? So, I mean, even that, having technology is not excuse to not learn how to do it. Like, you know how to read weather, right? You know, like, oh, somebody say 70 degrees, whatever. You know what that is, right? You need to know that in order for you to understand what the weather forecast is telling you. So you have the technology that's going to tell you the weather forecast. But unless you know what it is, you're not going to understand it. So you still need to learn it, even though that technology is available to you. Okay, you can watch 100 cigar reviews on how to smell cigar. Does not mean you know how to smoke a cigar until you do. Val probably watched like 20, 30 video on how to retrohale, but he still don't.
You know, I was just thinking when you were talking about the math. I remember by the time I was in 5th grade, I had to know the multiplication table up to 12. And they don't do that anymore.
Yeah. India still do it to 12.
Okay.
China still do it to 11 because 11 is easy. So there's no point to not do it. I know a lot of country does it to 9 now.
But
even 9 is like the minimum requirement. You got through all the single digits. So, but there was I had a whole big argument about multiplication because people think that 2 times 4 means 4 plus 4. But how I learn it is 2 multiply by 4. That's 2 4 times. So I still have that kind of argument with people. It's like that sign is not times. That sign is multiplied by. How many times that? So the secondary number, it's not the primary number. Primary number is the subject. The 2 is how many times that you had to do it by. And had that argument with everybody. People's like, oh, whatever I know is a teacher, blah, blah, blah. They tell you this way. I was like, well, he's wrong. Or, whatever. It's wrong. Because that sign is multiplied by. And there's a huge difference between that. And I tell people there's a difference between that. But people don't think that there is. I was like, what is the difference? You can flip it. It's still the same answer. But
same answer with a different concept to it.
it's the totally different concept. To
Yeah.
have 4 2-inch cigars is different than to having 2 4-inch cigars. Very different. Why are you so good at math? I'm not very good at math. I think what you need to understand is learning math has a good benefit because everything in this world can be explained by math. Okay, everything in this world can be explained by math. So if you're good at math, you're good at everything out of the concept. Your ability to comprehend stuff is much better when you can learn math. Right? Math right now, the way it's written, is actually developed for you to be easy to understand. Math originally is graph. Original form of math is actually not numerical. It's actually graphic. So everything can be explained by math. And math is really good for you. Math is pretty much everything. All right? Math can explain everything. Hey, Aurora. Math can explain everything. So if you want your kids to do good on every other thing in this world, focus on math. Focus on math because everything can be explained by math. I'm talking about everything. You can tell why Val is the person he is using math. You can see why fire is hot using math. You can say why the TV is the way it is using math. Everything is math. Math is the way to numerically understand something. So if you're good at math, you're all set. Everything else can be comprehended. Everything else can be comprehended with math. In fact, if you're stranded in the island by yourself, you're just stranded in the island by yourself, you can save yourself with math. You can learn to calculate what are the chances of you getting saved by math. Out of this entire world of water, you can find Titanic using math. I use that example because I saw a documentary about finding Titanic today. It's all math. So there you go. All right. And that should be it for today. 11:08. Next Wednesday, we have one more show. And we'll determine that show by whether or not I got something to chat to you guys about, whether or not it's a video update on the humidor or something that we can talk about, or well, if not, I just have like a short show to see if we got something to talk about. If not, we'll call it a day, let everybody take a rest so that we can have a good event at Arizona
on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Next week?
Yeah, next week. That's next week. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Got nothing better to do. Pack on Wednesday. They'll bring the party pants. We gotta get some. All right. So yeah, that will be it for today. I will see you guys next week. If I'm gonna cancel it, I'll let you guys know by Tuesday. But if not, we'll have some show on Wednesday. Quick one. We'll see what happens. I was planning to have a short show today, but who knows? It's 12. It's 11 already, so it is what it is. That'll be it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
All right. Good night, everybody.